everybody, welcome to my online Stampin' Up! Retirement party. I am so glad that you have come on and joined me for this. We had quite a few things that are retiring in the annual catalog and in the mini catalog from this spring. So I just wanted to spend some time today just having fun just one last time with these products before they're gone for good. So I hopped on just a minute early so that I can check my connection and make sure that we're well connected. So give me just a moment and let me check. Okay, it looks like I am live. Very good. So I had asked you in this group in a poll to tell me what your favorite retiring products were. Now I only listed the products that I actually owned so that I can make some fun samples with them. Y'all selected, interestingly enough, the same 3 products that I'm actually keeping. Now anybody who knows me knows that I don't really keep many items because I have very limited space for my crafting area. And so if it stays in my crafting zone, then that means I really, really like it. So I wanted to show you real quick. Y'all chose 3. Actually, there was 2 that were definitely winners, and then there was 1 that was a tie, and I kind of broke the tie and went with something else. So anyway, y'all chose the Clubhouse. Let's see if I can get in here. I'll show you when I put my screen down. So y'all, number 1 was the Clubhouse. Y'all seem to really like that one the most. And then Happy Tales was the second one, and actually it has sold out already. So sadly enough, I did design a project with this. I'm still going to show you how to do it because it has some really fun techniques. We're going to make our own designer series paper, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Y'all, actually the tie was between 9 Lives and the Honeybee. So I went ahead and I chose Honeybee, so that we'd have something different. So I am going to turn my camera down in just a moment. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the posts that came before this in the last hour. I have, there were links to the catalogs so that you can shop the last chance list, because come Tuesday, January 2nd, that is the last day to order those items, and after that they are gone. So I don't want you to miss out on some of those really cool stamping gems that are still left. Plus 2, we're in our last few days, so things are selling quickly. So you want to make sure, at least hop on there, take a look, make sure that you didn't miss something from that last chance list and get it ordered before it's too late. Also too, there was a door prize form. Yes, I am going to do a door prize. The 3 projects that I'm making today, I'm going to select a winner and I'm going to mail them those 3 projects along with just a little fun little goodie also. So let me turn my camera down and let's get stamping. How does that sound? So the first project that I'm going to do is with the Clubhouse bundle. And if you notice today, I actually have a mat that we're going to work with because we're going to get just a little bit inky today. And I want to make sure and protect my work surface. So I'm giving my camera feed just a moment to load, make sure that I am positioned. Hey, I'm Stacy, good to see you. Hey, Marianne, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. Now, for anybody who is joining now or gonna watch the replay later, I am gonna also be posting this on YouTube, and I will be sharing that link on my business page. So if you have anybody who maybe isn't in this group, if you want to hop on later today and share that link from my business page and share the video with them. Let me make sure. Are we good? All right. So I'm going to show you. I actually did something different. Now, my older son, Daniel, is a golfer. He started playing golf, oh goodness, a little less than 4 years ago. He picked up clubs for the first time. And honestly, it was very frustrating for him in the beginning, but he ended up joining the golf team at his high school and ended up on varsity, the last couple, well, I guess the last year and a half. So that's been pretty awesome. So I always think golfer, I think a male golfer, because I have a lot of men who golf in my family, but that doesn't mean there aren't a lot of female golfers. So what I did for our project with the Clubhouse is I went a little bit different direction, and I made a card for a female golfer. Let me check my lighting here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to show you how I made this card. Now, before I do that, I want to show you, if you noticed, I took an unusual pattern color palette, and I pulled the grays out of the paper in the Country Club suite. But I want to show you these really pretty patterns and stuff that are in that paper. And you know, it's just not very often that you see golf paper, right? So I thought this was really cool. We got one with the little with the balls and the tees, the bags, the golf carts, some argyles, and then when you flip it over, we've got some more check and argyles and the flags. Just such an awesome one. Now, one of the things that I did, if you notice, I did use this gray argyle to go with the petal pink, but there was also a sheet that had different just black and white images, and some of them had female golfers. So what I did is I actually cut out one of the female golfers to use in our card today so that we could represent our female golfers as well. So actually that paper is one of the items that is retiring, and so if you have a golfer in your life, I recommend ordering that paper. I think that you're going to be glad you have it in your stash. I've actually ordered a couple of packs just for my son. So what I did is for this card is I started off with a 4 1/4 by 11 piece of the petal pink cardstock. And then I took, and I've already pre-cut several of these pieces. Now don't worry about the measurement so much. I just want you to be able to have fun and just concentrate on the crafting. I actually have a little party favor for you at the end of the day. I'm going to send you the link for the PDF tutorial and a coupon code so that you can get that for free. So just hang tight, don't worry about it. Oh, hey Kathy, nice to meet you from Missouri. Thanks for joining me. Michelle, hey girl, thanks for joining me. I'm glad you're on. All right, so what I did is I took 2 little strips, 1/2 inch by 4 1/4, and I'm going to attach 2 of my argyle pieces. Make sure y'all can see that. I'm kind of in a shadow today, so I'm going to move my light just a little bit so y'all can see a little bit better. Hopefully that's better for y'all. Okay, so I'm going to attach the first one to my piece that measures 1 inch by 4 1/4 inches. Now I want it to overhang just a little bit because I want to be able to see just a little bit of that pink. And then I'm going to do the same thing for my other piece that measures 1 3/4 by 4 1/4. And then we're going to attach that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to first figure out where I want to place my golfer. So I need to make sure that I line this up properly. So I am going to kind of play around a little bit with this. All right, that's probably about where I want it, maybe a little bit up. Okay, so I'm going to put my female golfer down first. Now what I did is I cut out, it's 3 by 4 1/4 out of the sheet, and trust me, when you start cutting it out, you'll know Stampin' Up! Knew that was the exact measurement it needed to be. I was kind of chuckling about that. All right, so we're going to put that, oh, I kind of lost it. Let's see. Let's move that up just a hair. Okay, so I'm going to put that down kind of a little bit upper part of my card. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere my next 2 pieces. Hey Janie, good to see you. Cindy, thanks for joining me, friend, my neighbor up the road. All right, so we're going to put this on the top, and we're going to put this one on the bottom. All right. Okay. So I'm going to move that down just a little bit more so our feet aren't completely covered. All right, so that's kind of the base of my card. Then what I did is I took a golf ball that's actually part of the dies that come in this clubhouse set. They've got the male golfer, and they've got a golf ball and just different tea and clubs. It's just such a fun set. So what I did is I took this golf ball and I die cut the golf ball out in the petal pink. Now, what I did, and I'm going to do this real quick while I do some stamping so that it can dry, is I took my Wink of Stella, because we gotta bling this up. It's a girl golf card, so we gotta make sure that it's girly. So I'm going to take my Wink of Stella, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to color it in real quick. And of course I did pull a Wink of Stella that's almost empty, so it may take me a few passes here. Oh, that's so sparkly. I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the camera, but it is so, if you know Wink of Stella, it gives such a cool little glisten. So I'm going to set that aside while I do my stamping. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my Happy Birthday stamp from the stamp set, and I'm going to stamp. I had already pre-cut a banner from the die set, and we're going to stamp that. Of course, I'm looking at white on white, so it's always a little challenging for me to see this. We'll just hope that I got it right. It's not too bad. It'll work. We'll go with it. Okay, so hopefully this Wink of Stella is starting to dry. So I also too is I pre-cut out a T in silver foil so that we kind of blend in a little bit with the grays that we're using. And I'm going to put that right here on the lower part of my card. And then I'm going to take a dimensional and I'm going to put on my golf ball here. Oh, that's cute. Okay, so just one last thing to do is I want to add just a little bit, two more things. Actually, I need to put on my sentiment, don't I? So let's add the sentiment that I stamped just a moment ago. We're going to put that across our little birthday. And then we're going to add a bow. Now, with part of the Country Club suite, there is a package of 4 baker's twines. And I actually, as you can see, I'm using the last of the black, but it does come with a Poppy Parade, the Night of Navy, and I believe that's Garden Green, and then a spool of the black. So that also too is one of the items that's retiring. I'm actually going to use that a couple of times today. So I've already made my bow, and I'm going to attach it, and this card will be almost done when we add our final bit of bling. Anybody who knows me knows that I love rhinestones. And that just really makes the card super cute. All right, so we're gonna add, sorry, I'm having trouble picking this up. We're gonna add our little rhinestone right there. What do you think? Is that not cute or what? So I'm gonna show you another card that I made, because we got to have the guys in too, right? So I'm going to show you how I made a card for a guy, and I actually did something I have not done before, and I'm going to show you how to do it just real quick. I'm not going to make the whole card for you. It is in the tutorial that you'll be able to access later, but I took and I made a window card so that you could see through, and I used the same concept of cutting out the landscape so that it looks like it's in the distance. So that was really fun. But I want to show you how I did this. Now, I'm not going to make all of it, but I'm going to just show you the general principle of how to use your designer series paper to create just a really cool look on your stamped images. So what I did is I first stamped my guy. I cut him out. Let me get rid of some of this stuff here. I cut him out, colored him in a little bit, and then what I did is I took a scrap piece of my designer series paper and I stamped just the shirt part. And I took my black memento and I want to make sure I ink it up really well because I want to make sure that it shows well. And I'm going to stamp it. And so you can see that the shirt is right there. And then all I do is I very carefully, I trim around it and I cut out the shirt. So I've already pre-cut out the shirt. It looks kind of funny when it's not on the actual image. And I've already pre-cut the pants. And so what you do is you just take and you line those images up. Uh-oh, my pants stuck to my paper, flipped over on me. All right, so what you do is you just line those little images up. And then you have a decked out golfer. Has anybody tried this before? I just think it's like such a cool little technique. There we go. Looks like I dressed him in plaid and check shirt and pants. So he's a real golfer ready for the course. Okay, so that is our first project, was the golf card. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the one with the happy tails. That was a fun one to make. All right, so give me just a moment. I'm gonna clean up, bring my other project out. So we got 3 projects today. All right, so who is ready for the happy tails one? Now, unfortunately, this set, like I said, has already sold out. I was really bummed about that happened. So what I did is earlier in May, as I did a sailing home class, and this was one of the cards in the class. And I kept looking at it, and I kept seeing the happy tails as part of that. And I thought, I want to repurpose this design and do the happy tails. So as you can see, is I took the same concept of the trifold, but I turned it into a portrait and made this really cute card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I made this card. I know hopefully some of you already own the stamp set, so you'll be able to make this at home. If not, you can adapt it to something else that you already own. So I'm going to show you how to make this paper and how to put this card together. And then I'm going to show you a cat one. Okay, so guys, we are working with dogs, so then we need to have our dog pumpkin paper pumpkin sheet. So we're going to use that, plus two, that other one was starting to get sticky. Okay, so what I did is I took a 4 1/4 by 8 3/4 piece of real red cardstock. Now what I did is on this one is I scored it at 3 1/4 and folded it over for my card base. Then what I did is I took the stitch nested labels, and I took the largest one and I die cut out a large basic black label. And then what I did, hopefully you can see this, is I scored at 1 inch, because what I want to do is this is going to be my flap. So I'm going to fold that over, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue, and I'm going to recommend that you use like either tear tape or the multi-purpose liquid glue to hold this down so that you can get a really good adhesion. And I'm going to take this score line that's right here, and I'm going to line it up with the top of my card. Right there. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry and I'll set it aside while I work with the inside. So this is going to be my inside piece, which measures 4 by 5 1/4, and we're going to stamp a little doghouse inside and a little bone to decorate it up. So I'm going to take, oh, thank you for the compliments, I appreciate it. So I'm going to take my basic black, and we're going to stamp here in the corner. And then while I have my basic black out, is I'm going to take my little dog bone, and we're going to stamp a little dog bone just next. So, but my doghouse looks a little bland. We need to give it a little color. So what we do is we're going to take the real red ink pad, and we're going to stamp the solid image that's in this Happy Tail stamp set, and we're just going to layer that over. to give us our finished doghouse. All right, so hopefully by this point, I think my flap should be dry enough. So I'm gonna take and I'm gonna put the inside panel in. Okay, now this is important. The reason why I want to have an inside panel here is I need something to secure this piece at the top so that it doesn't come off as it's being opened and closed. So we're going to put that over it, and that helps anchor that in. Okay, so now we're going to decorate the front of our card. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here first, and I want to show you how to make your own designer series paper, because we don't have any paper for this, for the dog set. So we're going to make our own, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of paper that measures 3 by 4 inches, and we're going to start stamping. And this is where we get to use a lot of the fun different stamps that are in the stamp set. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my basic black memento pad again, and I'm going to start randomly stamping little paw prints. And you don't have to worry, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, turn them this way and that way. Okay, turn them upside down, kind of just randomize it, okay? So I am not going to do this whole card because this would take me a while. But what you would want to do then is to fill in some of the spaces. You can take your heart and start with the real red and start filling in some of those spaces. Okay, same thing, just turn it all which way and just fill it in until you like how it looks. Now I've already completed one for us to kind of help speed up the time a little bit, and so I have already done this one. Then what you want to do is, I felt like it just needed some extra texture to it, that it was just a little kind of bland like that. So I took my marker, my basic black marker, and I did what's called the flicking technique. And with that, you open up on the marker, there are 2 ends. There is a fine point end for like handwriting, and then there is a brush end. We want to use the brush end. So we're going to take it, and this is why I needed the paper today, because it's going to get messy. So I'm going to take and I'm going to put just the tip on the inside, and I'm going to start flicking. And what that does is it creates this little mist. It's kind of messy, guys. So you want to make sure you have something down to protect. All right. So I think that looks pretty good. So I flicked what I wanted right there, but I just kind of felt like it still needed a little something. So I took my basic gray ink pad, and we're going to take a sponge dauber, and we're just going to ink up the edges. I'm just going to go around and just kind of give us a little bit of a border to our paper. If you ever notice, a lot of times in the designer series paper, there's different color variations and different patterns and stuff and different intensities. So that's kind of what we're doing here, is we're just kind of making our own. Okay, well, they're pretty cool. Like I said, there really is no right or wrong way to do it. It's just whatever you like. And so what we're going to do is we're going to adhere this to the bottom piece of our card. All right, so I'm going to put that down there. All right, so then remember I was telling you how I cut the basic black with the nested labels? What I did is I went one size down and I cut out an argyle print. And so we're just going to layer that on top. And what I did is I actually snipped off the top because I don't need that little section. And we're going to put that over our basic black. Right there. All right, so a couple more things to finish our card is we need a dog and we need the heart. So I have already pre-cut a heart out with the stitched Be Mine dies. Now you can also you can use the heart punches. You can use whatever heart that you have, just something to kind of give it a, we want to be able to tie in some of the reds. So I'm going to stamp my sentiment real quick on my heart, and I'm using the Friends Forever from the stamp set. And we're going to stamp right there. So guys, I know some of you commented earlier about what your favorite color was and stuff. And I noticed, like Stacy, you said Poppy Parade. I will tell you, that was not a favorite of mine in the beginning, but I have really come to love that color. I could definitely see why you like it, but I was not a fan in the early days. So I have put my, I adhered my heart on, and now I want to do my dog. So I'm going to stamp my dog. Now with this particular stamp set is what's called two-step stamping. And so you're going to take your image and we're going to stamp the base. And I'm going to tell you a little trick on using this stamp set. Okay, so we're going to do the bottom there. And then we're going to put in our spots. Now there is another pattern you could do with this stamp set if you don't want these spots. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to kind of line it up. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of a trick. And I don't think I got it quite. Oh, hey, it actually turned out pretty well. Okay, so there is a trick. If you own this stamp set, or if you own the 9 Live stamp set, there is something that really helps to be able to line these up better, because I was so frustrated when I got these stamps and I could not get them lined up. Okay, the key is when you are working with this is you want to make sure, and you know what guys, I'm going to put my white paper down so that you can see better. So you can see this little trick. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to take your stamp and lay it down in its natural state, okay? Then you're going to want to pick it up. Now what I was trying to do initially is I was trying to place it, and what was happening is I was putting pressure on like and it would move, so it wouldn't line up properly. Same thing with the accent piece is if you want to just lift it up, because otherwise you may move that little wiggly part right here and it may not line up correctly because it'll be off just a little bit. So that's a little tip that I learned. If you're struggling with getting those lined up properly, try that out and see if that doesn't help you with those stamps. Okay guys, so I need to punch out my dog. So I'm going to take my dog punch and we're going to punch him out. Oh, thank you, Janie. I appreciate it. I love this puppy card too. I was so bummed. Actually, when I was going through the retirement list, I was like, I mean, some things I was like, okay, I get it. And then others, I was like, what? Why are y'all getting rid of that? That's so awesome. And this was one of them. Actually, I think all of these, I was shocked. I was like, no, don't get rid of these. These are so awesome. But you know what? That's okay. That just means we've got other fun stuff that is coming. Okay, so I'm going to put my dog, I'm going to use dimensionals, and I'm going to put my dog next to the heart. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I want to tie in just a little bit of that red. Now this is from that Country Club. Remember I told you about that twine pack? I am using the Poppy Parade twine from that. Now it's not truly a real red, but it blends well enough that we can use it. And I'm just going to tie that at the top. Let me cut off my excess. We don't need that much. And then our card is done. Okay, so I'm going to show you the cat version. So what I did, and the cat, the 9 Lives is still available, so you can still order that stamp set. But this one, I used similar color palette, but I just went with just a regular card, and on the inside, I stamped some of the cute locks and elements that come with it. Okay, so we are going to go to our third project. So I hope that you're enjoying the project so far. And let me get the last one for you. So let me get organized here. All right, y'all ready? Last card that we're making today is with the honeybee stamp set. Okay, and that is right here. I love, love, love this set. I love the sentiments. I love the cute little bees, the different dies that come with it. It was it's such a great set. It is still available. I'm surprised, honestly, that it hasn't sold out yet. I keep checking it, thinking any day that it's going to sell out. So what I did is on this one is I took a 4 1/4 by 11-inch piece of the crushed curry cardstock, and I scored it at 5 1/2 and folded it. And then what I did is I took a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic gray. Now, if you notice, I have been carrying that same Argyle print from the Country Club Designer Series paper through all the projects today. So I'm going to add on my basic gray. I'll line that up in the center of our card. Okay, so I don't want a whole lot of the gray to show. So what I did is I took a 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 piece of the Whisper white cardstock. And I'm going to stamp real quick my sentiment on here before I adhere it, just in case I make a mistake. I can fix it and turn it over. And I'm taking the sentiment, thinking of you, sweet friend. And we're just going to put it right here in the corner. All right, that turned out pretty well. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to leave this out because I'm going to need it for my bees. So I'm going to adhere this piece to the front of my card. Okay. And like I said, I wanted just a sliver of the gray to show through because I didn't want it to be too overwhelming. Then next what I did is I took a 1 1/4 by 4 3/4 piece of that gray Argyle paper, and I'm going to adhere it to the left side of the card. Okay. All right. So then next what I'm going to do is I take my daisies. I took 2 large daisies and I took 1 medium daisy. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to curl each of the petals so that I can get kind of a layered look. Now when you're doing these, you want to just gently take your bone folder and just gently curl the petals. If you pull too hard, you may accidentally tear them off. So it's just gentle. You can always come back and do it again if you need to. All right. And then we're going to take and I'm going to adhere in the middle. And what I like to do is I like to nestle them inside of each other to kind of give like an up and a down type pattern to mimic the flowers in nature. And then I'm going to take my last one and I'm just going to offset it a little bit. So we kind of, it's almost actually kind of has a little bit of a mum look to it. And then I'm going to take a dimensional and I'm going to add it to my card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp my bees on just a piece of Whisper white cardstock. So I have my big bee that I'm going to stamp. And then I have my small bee. Now I started running out of Stampin' blocks, so I just put them back to back, which you can totally do. And then I'm going to take my dark Daffodil Delight Stampin' Blends, and we're just going to color in these little lines here to bring in some of that color from our paper. All right, so I am not going to be die cutting these in front of you. I've already pre-die cut them for you, but I wanted to just show you how I got to that. So So I have die cut my bees, and now I'm going to adhere them to the front of the card. So I'm going to put this one at an angle. And then this one, I'm going to pop up this little guy with a dimensional. Give him a little fun lift. All right. Put him at an angle. All right, so what I want to do is I want to bring my Wink of Stella again. And I want to give a little glisten to these wings. And I sure wish I will try to show you. I don't think it will pick up in the camera, but it just really brings this card up to another level. It is so cute having this Wink of Stella glisten on the wings. All right, I'm gonna try. I don't think it's gonna happen, but maybe if I rotate it, maybe you'll be able to see it some. So anyway, but if you've ever used Wink of Stella, you know what I'm talking about. It's awesome. Okay, for the last thing for this card, before we finish up, is I'm going to stamp an inside piece. Now in this set, there is a right-facing flower and then there's a left-facing flower. You want to make sure you're pulling the right-facing flower to ink up. And we're just going to put it at an angle here in the corner, just to give a little party to the inside of our card. And I'm going to color this in again with my Daffodil Delight Stampin' Blend. And I'm going to put it on the inside of my card. And then this card is done. So I want to show you some of the other projects that I have made here in a minute with the honeybee. Because like I said, I really enjoyed this set. And I was sad to see it go. It's still available though, so if you don't already own it, I highly encourage you to add this to your crafting stash because I think you will really enjoy this. All right, so that is our last card. Now here is another card that I made earlier this year that I used a different color palette. I brought in Coastal Cabana to kind of give a pop of a different color with the yellow and the black. And then I made this cute little honey jar. People always ask me, where do you get these little honey jars? They're actually 2-ounce jars from Amazon, so you can Google that and find that out, where to get those. And it actually came with these little wands, little honey wands, and a cute little bee charm. So those are really cute to make. Unfortunately, this paper was part of our celebration selection, which isn't available anymore, but you can always, substitute with something else. So guys, I am so grateful that you joined me today to make these projects. So I do want to show you in the tutorial, there will be the instructions on how to make this card, how to make the male golfer card, the 2 cards for the dog and the cat, and the honeybee card, okay? So I am actually offering today and through the end of the month, I'm doing an ordering promotion for the last chance special. And for every $50 that you spend, I will send you a stack of some 6x6 designer series paper. Actually, you're going to get a set of 24 of those sheets. Because guys, I have somehow accumulated a lot of designer series paper and I would love to be able to share that with you. If you have, as you can see, I have lots and lots of fun paper to share with you. So what you'll get is you will get a stack of different papers. It could vary from what I have here, and I will send that in the mail to you. Plus, you might see that there's an extra little surprise that you're not expecting. So if you would use that host code that's listed in the post above, and that I'll have in the post below. Use that host code with your order of $50 or more, and I will put that in the mail for you. Also, too, don't forget my party favor to be able to get this tutorial for free. And guys, I so appreciate, I hope you enjoyed the projects, and I thank you for joining me today. And if you have any questions, please contact me. And guys, if you're not already on my email list, I encourage you to join that list so you can find out the next time I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live and what events I have coming up. Guys, take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will stamp again later. Bye-bye.